Well, you're telling me there are factions or rivalries or biases or discrimination within the state of New Mexico just based upon which part of the state you come from.
I think there is sometimes, yes.
I think what she's trying to say is that they were from the southern part of Las Cruces and around the Texas border.
Yes.
And what it was is that my son, when he was raised up, he got raised up in an Anglo area, where farms and community is.
Yes.
And we raised our 3 sons there, and they lived out in the country. And they liked country music, They enjoyed the country way, They didn't know how to speak Spanish, not because we didn't want to teach them. It just, to them, they were going to school there with Anglos, and they were living a different way of life.
So did Benjamin speak Spanish or no?
Very little.
Very little.
Understood quite a bit more.
So these guys might have had a sort of resentment, sort of like a cultural or class resentment, because Benjamin had, been raised in this Anglo environment, and they were more from a city environment.
I think that could have had a fact on it, because on the video that we got from the captain, where he was being counseled and he had to make a speech on integrity and stuff, they would call him like cabron, pinche cabron. They would.
What does that mean, Geronimo?
Well, I can't say.
It's derogatory. It's derogatory.
It's derogatory, and then they would call him pinche güero, and and then there was a lot of comments made that.
This is very inappropriate. I can't believe the the commanding officer didn't shut this down. This kind of hostility within the ranks. It's really not something that's acceptable.
No.
Well, even on the DVD, the captain heard, that he had been bum rushed, and she had the nerve to ask, "Was this round 2?" And one of the unit members says, he says, "No, puss." That's the way he addressed her. He's a SPC.
What was her rank?
I'm sorry?
She was a captain.
She was a captain, and this enlisted man was referring to her, no puss?
No puss, he says.
He was referring to her as puss?
Right.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He had given a class on integrity, and that's how he addressed her. He says...
Who was the person who gave the class on integrity?
Benjamin did.
Benjamin did.
Yes.
Benjamin gave the class on integrity, but another member of the unit referred to the captain that way?
Right.
Yes.
Was this used as an example of inappropriate, behavior, or was this just the way he was relating to her?
I thought it was all inappropriate for her to be a captain and then for him to be a private and address the captain that way.
Yes.
But the class on integrity was done in a backyard, and I'm assuming it was Benjamin's backyard at his base housing, and everybody was drinking beer, and music was full blast, and she asked them to turn the music down because he was going to go ahead and give his talk on integrity.
Was she asking Benjamin to turn the music down?
No, she had asked some of the unit members to turn it off.
Yeah.
Benjamin was getting ready to do he was going to have his head shaved because of an incident where he didn't report to work, or he reported to work and he lied about it. So instead of writing him up, what she decided to do is give him a choice of either getting a haircut, his hair shaved off, or getting it written up.
This is Benjamin we're talking about?
That's Benjamin we're talking about.
So he committed some minor infraction and he was going to get his hair cut as a consequence?
Yes.
But the alternative was to give this presentation?
Right. He was going to give the class on integrity, but he was doing it in his backyard, and all the unit members and some young kids were there filming it. It was so what they did is she asked him, "Okay, you guys, get your beer, turn the music down, let the class begin."
Well, this guy's an E5. He's experienced. What was the minor infraction for which he was being punished?
He had gone to work late, And then he had lied about that he was there when in actuality he wasn't there on time.
I take it that's not typical of Benjamin.
No, it was not typical for Benjamin to do that.
But he must have felt embarrassed, huh, to be late.
Well, he felt embarrassed about it then, and we talked about it, me and him, and he said he was going to get his hair cut when he went back to that unit, and we discussed it, and I said, well, it'll grow back, Benjamin, it's no problem. He had it short anyway because he'd shave it on the sides.
So to say he was going to get his hair cut, he meant literally he was going to get his hair cut. He didn't mean figuratively that he was going to get chewed out.
No, he knew he was going to get it. They had already made arrangements for that.
For the haircut?
Yes, but right before he got his hair cut, he was bum rushed by these guys.
Tell me what you mean by that exactly.
Well, they jumped him, they fought, I guess, because he had a kind of like a red mark on the right cheek, was it? The right cheek? And then we could see him talking. He looked nervous. And one of the unit members asked him, did we bum rush you? And Benjamin said, yes, you did. And then Benjamin kind of got a little upset and said, did I walk away? And another soldier jumped in and said, no, you didn't walk away. You walked up, and it was like that.
These
constantly. I mean, they must have had at least 6 confrontations, counting the 3 they admit to on the DVD, and then 3 more that me and my wife were told about.
And these were the 3 guys who came back from Iraq who were giving him all this trouble?
Well, supposedly they come back from Iraq. Yes, they were giving them the problems.
Is it possible when they were down in the Mexican border area that they were involved in any drug dealing or other illicit activities?
Well, that hasn't been brought up at all. We hadn't discussed that with anybody, and I don't think so, because in the Army they test them pretty good, and they keep an eye on them. Not this unit. They didn't keep an eye on them like they should, but, I don't think there was any drug-related problems that I know of.
Jim, let me kind of go over some of this stuff that we kind of picked up off of the...
Please, Judy.
The captain says, okay, was this round 2? And the specialist tells them, no, we already got through round 2. We're on round 3. And then she says, well, who won? And he says, he did, puss. We rolled down bar, and then we came into guillotine, I guess some kind of a hold. Guillotine. So you're weak. This is what the captain is asking him. And he says, no, ma'am, nowhere near it. And you could tell that he got really teed off. Right, integrity, he says, and he looks at Ben. And then it goes down, and then he says, where else?
Take your time.
Right here. And anyway, at the end, when they did the haircut, they went with a no guard because this specialist is telling her, go with a no guard. And he's like, no, he says, put a guard on it because it's going to be just like shaving the skin off. And he says, no, do it this way. And then so the captain gets the clippers and she's doing the haircut. And Ben's kind of upset about, them going that way. Anyway, the last statement that the specialist says, hey, the only bad thing, he says, the only bad thing now is you're really going to find out who your man boys are. They're not going to find the fingerprints in the back of your grave. He made that threat to him. And that's the last part of that DVD.
Who was it who made that threat?
The specialist that Benjamin had run-ins through that whole week of the deaths. That this DVD was taken about a month prior to.
And you've got this on a DVD. He's making this threat.
Yes. And
the Army CID investigated this, and you're going to have to tell me more about the specific circumstances of Benjamin's death. But this is very suspicious right on the face of it. And He had plans with Geronimo to go fishing.
Well, he had a lot of plans. He was meeting people that afternoon after he got out of work. He made calls to housing to get his dad into one of the rooms because there were only two. It was a housing unit on base, and there were 3 bedrooms, and he told me Thursday morning of July 12th that he was going to get his dad set up when he went over there on Monday afternoon.